Visualize this scenario. There's a newlywed couple, vibrant and full of dreams, yet they find themselves caught in an emotional power struggle. The culprit? Overbearing parents. We're stepping into the hidden realm of parental meddling in marital affairs. This is a realm where the dreams, aspirations, and goals of the couple are often overshadowed by the towering expectations and wishes of their parents. Here, the couple's choices are not their own. Instead, they are mandated by the expectations of their parents. This unseen power struggle can stretch the cords of the relationship, leading to tension, discord, and disillusionment. Let's look at an actual case to illustrate this situation. Introduce yourselves to Jane and John, a young couple embarking on their journey together. They harbored dreams of globe-trotting, setting up their own enterprise, and living life on their own conditions. But their dreams were clipped short when Jane's parents pressed them to settle down, purchase a home, and begin a family without delay. This did not align with Jane and John's plans, but they felt bound to respect Jane's parents' wishes. This is just a single instance of parental interference. There are other forms too, some discreet, some obvious. You find parents who perpetually intrude in their children's lives, dispensing unasked for advice, making intrusive remarks, or forcing their own perceptions and convictions. There are parents who employ emotional coercion or guilt to manipulate their offspring. And then, there are parents who wield financial control, using wealth as a tool to govern their children's decisions. The initial fallout of such intrusion can be severe. The couple may feel cornered, agitated, and powerless. They might suffer a blow to their self-esteem and self-value. They may feel as if they're living someone else's existence, not their own. They may start to doubt their decisions, their abilities, and even their relationship, and yet, in a majority of cases, the couple may not even comprehend that they're being manipulated. They may feel they're just fulfilling their responsibilities, honoring their parents' wishes, and preserving familial peace. As we dig deeper, we'll reveal how these invisible shackles can shape the trajectory of a relationship. Recognizing the signs of meddling parents is the first step towards overcoming their control. You might be asking yourself, how can I discern whether my parents are meddling in my relationship? The signs can be subtle yet profound. They may include over-involvement in personal matters such as your daily routine, your parenting style, or your financial decisions. They may also be giving unsolicited advice on every aspect of your life, from career choices to home decor. Emotional manipulation is another sign, where parents use guilt or emotional blackmail to manipulate their children's decisions. Lastly, financial control can also be a sign of meddling, where parents use wealth or financial aid as a leverage to influence their children's life choices. Once you recognize these signs, it's time to strategize on how to overcome this meddling. Open communication is key. Express your concerns to your parents and explain your need for autonomy. It is crucial to set boundaries with your parents and ensure they understand the limits of their involvement. If the situation becomes too overwhelming, consider seeking professional help. A counselor or therapist can provide objective advice and strategies to cope with the situation. Lastly, reinforce your autonomy. Make decisions independently and show your parents that you are capable of managing your own life. By recognizing these signs and implementing these strategies, couples can regain control over their relationship. Next, let's explore how these invisible barriers can take a toll on a couple's relationship. Ponder on this. Parents surpassing the bounds of concern and entering the territory of control build an unseen wall within the nuptial bond, a reality that numerous partners struggle with, leaving behind of agonizing aftermath. Visualize the given situation. You are in a matrimonial bond where your parents' influence feels so overwhelming. It's like they have become this unseen third entity in your relationship. You find yourself constantly tiptoeing around them, anxious about making decisions without their consent, even when it pertains to personal concerns. Your partner feels the same distress. This was the companionship you dreamed of when you exchanged vows, was it? Maternal and paternal control can put a severe strain on a couple's relationship, pushing it to its limits. It's akin to a dissension seed sowed deep within the heart of the wedlock, sprouting slowly but persistently, nurtured by bitterness and vexation. You may sense a growing distance from your partner, not due to any mistake on their part, but because of the excessive sway your parents hold over your lives. Communication, the very essence of every harmonious relationship, starts to crack. Dialogues turn filled with unspoken words and bottled up emotions. The joy in shared moments begins to fade, the impulsiveness disappears, and so does the liberty to be yourselves. The unseen wall reinforces, distancing you from your partner, emotionally and at times even physically. Let's delve into an instance. Get acquainted with Jane and John. Once, they were a lively, affectionate couple, full of aspirations and blueprints for their future. But the incessant meddling from Jane's parents began causing cracks in their bond. Every decision, every choice was inspected, and more often than not, disapproved. John felt belittled, and Jane was torn between her fidelity to her parents and her pledge to her husband. Bitterness surged, communication dwindled, and the unseen wall solidified, leaving them in a wedlock that was a mere silhouette of its former self. But what transpires when this unseen wall becomes a permanent installation in the relationship? This is a query that numerous couples dealing with this predicament pose, and it's a query that will be examined deeply in the forthcoming scene. As years pass by, the seeds of control sown by parents can grow into towering trees of discord. This describes the long-term impact we are discussing. This impact is not just a minor inconvenience that disappears, it's a devastating storm that alters the dynamics of a marriage. Visualize a couple. We'll refer to them as Jack and Jill. Once upon a time, they were deeply in love. They shared laughter, they made decisions together, they trusted and respected each other. However, the roots of parental control began to infiltrate. Jack's parents weren't fans of Jill's cooking. Jill's parents, Jack's career choice. Gradually, the parents' opinions started to impose on their relationship. Over the course of time, doubt seeped into Jack and Jill's relationship. They started to question each other's decisions. Their trust dwindled, not due to lack of faith in each other, but due to their parents' disapproval. The love they once shared started to wane under the burden of doubt and uncertainty. Discussions morphed into arguments, and those arguments into full-blown conflicts. Their marriage began to look more like a war zone rather than a partnership, each defending their family, trying to maintain harmony on all fronts. However, in the midst of this, they lost sight of the most important aspect, their love for each other. You see, when parents interfere and control, it's not only the present of the couple that's at stake, it's their future too. The seeds of conflict that are sown today may grow into gigantic, casting a dark shadow over the relationship. It's akin to a snowball rolling down a hill, starting small but gaining momentum and size until it becomes an unstoppable force. This represents the long-term impact of parental control on a marriage. It's not a sight for sore eyes, right? It's a cycle of constant conflict and bitterness that could span even decades. It's a cycle that's tough to break, but not unachievable. So is there a way to trim these wild trees of discord? The answer is yes. We'll delve deeper into that in our following video. Stay with us. Breaking free from parental control isn't easy, but it isn't impossible either. Being in a maze, trying to find your way out, the walls of the maze are the unyielding expectations and control of your parents. But remember, just like a maze, there are ways to break free. The first step is open communication. Talk to your parents, express your feelings and concerns. Let them know how their involvement is affecting your relationship. It's not about blaming them, but about helping them understand. It's like turning on a flashlight in that maze, illuminating the path ahead. Now let's look at the story of Jane and John. They found themselves in this maze, their marriage strained under the weight of parental control. They decided to have an open conversation with their parents. It was difficult, it was emotional, but it was necessary, and it helped. Their parents started to understand the impact of their actions, but sometimes open communication isn't enough. This is where professional help comes in. Therapists and counselors can provide strategies and tools to cope with the situation. They're like the guideposts in our maze, offering directions when we're lost. Jane and John decided to seek a counselor. They learned to set boundaries, to say no when necessary, and their parents, seeing their determination, started respecting those boundaries. The walls of the maze began to crumble, which brings us to the last step, reinforcing the couple's autonomy. It's about asserting your independence, making decisions themselves as a couple and standing by them. It's about taking control of your lives. It's like reaching the exit of the maze, stepping out into the open for Jane and John. This meant making decisions without seeking approval from their parents, whether it was about their careers, their children, or their lifestyle. And with time, their parents started accepting this change. These boundaries is the first step towards regaining control over your relationship. It's a journey from being lost in the maze to breaking free. And like every journey, it begins with a single step. So take that step for yourself, for your relationship. Once the chains of control are broken, the road to recovery begins. Rebuilding trust and rekindling affection in a relationship can feel like a daunting task. But remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither are healthy relationships. It's a journey that requires patience, understanding, and most importantly, commitment from both parties involved. Let's delve into a real-life example. To illustrate this point, consider the case of Emily and Mark, a couple who faced similar challenges. Emily's parents had a significant influence on their relationship, which led to tension and a growing rift. Once they realized the root cause of their issues, they took the brave step of setting boundaries with Emily's parents. This step was crucial, but it was just the beginning. The couple had to work on reinventing their relationship, free from external influence. They started by having open conversations about their feelings, fears, and expectations. Communication, as cliché as it might sound, was their first step towards recovery. It allowed them to understand each other's perspectives and learn how they could better support each other. Next, they decided to seek professional help. They began attending couples therapy sessions, which provided them with tools and techniques to address their issues constructively. This not only helped them navigate their challenges, but also gave them a safe space to express their thoughts and feelings. Rebuilding trust came gradually. It was about the small things, being there for each other, showing empathy, and demonstrating respect for each other's autonomy. Over time, these small actions led to the restoration of trust. Rekindling affection followed a similar route. They made it a point to spend quality time together, to rediscover each other beyond the roles of husband and wife. They began to appreciate each other's quirks and idiosyncrasies, and slowly the spark was reignited. The road to recovery was not a smooth one for Emily and Mark. It was filled with bumps and turns, moments of doubt and despair, but they stayed the course, driven by their commitment to each other and their shared vision of a healthier, happier relationship. Maybe a long journey, but it's certainly one worth taking. When a couple regains their autonomy, they don't just strengthen their relationship, they also empower themselves. Now, let's talk about the power of autonomy. It's like a breath of fresh air, a sigh of relief. It's the feeling of being in control of your own life and your own decisions. It's about establishing boundaries, setting limits, and creating a space where you and your spouse can thrive. Imagine this: a couple finds themselves constantly under the watchful eye of their parents. It causes tension and disagreements. They decide to take a stand, to set boundaries. They tell their parents, "We love you, but we need our space." It's difficult conversation, but they walk away feeling lighter, more in control. This newfound autonomy has profound effects. Their self-esteem improves. They no longer feel like children being directed, but adults making their own decisions. They feel capable and confident. This self-esteem then spills over into their relationship. They are more satisfied with each other, more in tune. The disagreements lessen, the tension eases. They are happier, but the effects don't stop there. Their relationship with their parents also improves. Sure, there might be some initial resistance, some hurt feelings, but over time, the parents start to respect their children's boundaries. They see them as adults capable of making their own decisions. This leads to healthier, dynamic, better understanding. And let's not forget the most important effect of all. The couple feels empowered. They've taken control of their story. They've written their own narrative. They're no longer living in the shadow of their parents, but in the light of their own choices. This is the power of autonomy. It's not about shutting out your parents. It's about creating a space where you can grow, thrive, and build a life that's truly your own. It's about taking the reins of your life and steering it in the direction you want by reclaiming their autonomy. Couples can truly begin to write their own story. Parental control can cast a long shadow over a marriage, but remember, every shadow is cast by a light. As we close this enlightening journey, let us contemplate the key insights acquired. We delve deeply into the unseen chains of parental control, deciphering the invisible barriers and long-lasting impacts on a marriage. We also navigated the empowering route to liberation and the healing path to recovery. Remember, the chains may be unseen, but not invincible. They may create invisible barriers, but these barriers can be disassembled. Recognize the chains and barriers, take necessary steps to break free, and embark on a recovery journey. Parental control has profound and far-reaching impacts. They can influence every facet of a marriage: communication, trust, intimacy, and happiness. But these impacts are not insurmountable. With awareness, understanding, and action, they can be mitigated and the marriage fortified. The path to liberation demands courage, commitment, communication, establishing clear boundaries, asserting autonomy, nurturing a healthy, independent relationship. A challenging path, but rewarding. A path leading to a fortified, healthier, and content marriage. The recovery road is a journey of healing, growth, transformation. It demands patience, persistence, compassion, but it leads to a place of deeper understanding, connection, and lasting happiness. Autonomy's power is a beacon casting away control shadows, a light illuminating a stronger, healthier marital path, a light shining brightly in mutual respect, understanding, love's warm glow. Let autonomy's light cast away control's shadow. Let your marriage thrive in its warm glow.